Welcome to The Explainer. You know, for practically all of human history, the really big power struggles, the fierce battles for resources, the drawing and redrawing of maps, they've all happened right here, on the surface. But honestly, surface wars are rapidly becoming old news. The real battleground of the future isn't a place you can just march an army across. In fact, it's completely untouched by human footsteps. We're talking about a massive global conflict unfolding in a totally hidden world, locked away from the sun, far beneath the crashing waves.
We've got to travel down, like really deep down. Imagine descending 4,000 meters below the ocean surface. That is over 2 miles straight down into this pitch-black, mysterious, and frankly, completely unforgiving territory. Down there, there's absolutely zero sunlight. It's a silent, alien world that until very recently, we just thought of as a barren abyss. But as it turns out, this mysterious ocean floor is exactly where the new global conflict is taking off. Okay, let's dive into this, because we really need to understand just how incredibly hostile this environment is. At 4,000 meters down, the water pressure isn't just heavy, it is violently crushing. Imagine the entire weight of an adult elephant pressing down on every single square inch of your body. No way you survive that, right? That is the kind of extreme environment we're dealing with. It literally repels human presence, and yet superpowers are absolutely desperate to conquer it.
So that leads us to a pretty massive, suspenseful question. Are land wars over? I mean, if the borders we see on our globes are no longer the ultimate prize, where is the real war actually happening? The answer means shifting our focus away from traditional geopolitical land borders and looking straight downward. Because at the very bottom of the ocean, humanity has discovered something that is going to entirely control the technology and the power dynamics of the coming century.
And this hidden war connects directly to your daily life. Right now, sitting in your pocket or parked in your driveway or processing the algorithms you use every single day, these are the technologies driving this underwater gold rush. We're talking smartphones, electric vehicle batteries, artificial intelligence chips. The global demand for these three things is absolutely exploding, and they all require highly specific, super valuable materials to even function.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the actual form these materials take. Down in that crushing, freezing dark, you'll find what are called polymetallic nodules. Basically, think of them as potato-sized rocks scattered all across the ocean floor. But they're not just rocks. People are calling them blue gold. They contain this incredibly dense mix of the exact vital minerals that essentially act as the oxygen for our modern lifestyle. Without them, the whole tech boom, it simply suffocates.
Section 1. The treasure, powering green energy.
To build the electric cars and the solar panels we need to save our climate, we're currently undergoing this massive global shift. And to do it, we desperately need huge amounts of vital minerals, things like cobalt, nickel, and manganese. But we've got a harsh reality here. On one hand, land minerals are depleting incredibly fast. What's left on the surface is becoming wildly expensive and, honestly, highly dangerous to extract from the Earth. On the other hand, we have ocean minerals. Down on the abyssal plains, which are these massive, flat stretches of the deep ocean floor, there are literally billions of tons of these nodules just sitting right there on the surface of the seabed, waiting to be scooped up.
And the scale of this treasure is truly mind-blowing. To put it into perspective, let's look at just one specific, relatively small area of the Pacific Ocean known as the Clarion-Clipperton Zone. Just this one single zone contains enough pure nickel to meet the entire world's demand for 50 years. Half a century of our entire global tech and green energy needs sitting in just one patch of the deep ocean. It's an astronomical amount of wealth and power.
Section 2. The geopolitics. A new Cold War.
Well, when you have a treasure that massive, it doesn't take long for the claws to come out, right? And here's the primary complication that completely changes the rules of the game. These polymetallic nodules, they aren't sitting right off the coast of California or in the territorial waters of any specific nation. They are in international waters. That means they belong to no single country. Because this treasure sits completely outside of any national borders, it has triggered a massive, highly unregulated strategic scramble. We're talking a true Wild West of the deep sea.
And this brilliantly illustrates the high-stakes supply chain race currently happening between global superpowers. On one side, we have China, who has already aggressively moved ahead here. They hold the most exploration licenses and possess incredibly advanced deep-sea mining robots. On the other side, the US and Europe are watching all this with extremely high concern. They're worried that if China gains control over these deep-sea minerals, kind of like the anxieties we already see surrounding semiconductor chips, Beijing could secure a complete monopoly over the global tech supply chain, basically leaving the rest of the world entirely at their mercy.
Section 3. The tech, vacuuming the ocean floor.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because how do you actually get this blue gold out of an environment that violently crushes everything it touches? Well, it takes a phenomenally expensive technological feat. Step 1. Companies deploy massive remote-controlled robots, literally the size of commercial trucks, straight down into the freezing dark 4 kilometers deep. Because hey, why vacuum your living room when you can vacuum the bottom of the ocean, right? Step 2. These robots traverse the seabed, acting as giant heavy-duty vacuums, physically sucking up those polymetallic nodules right off the ocean floor. Step 3. They transport the gathered minerals all the way back up to a surface ship using this massive, continuous pipe system. It's so intense that only a handful of companies on Earth can even afford to attempt it.
Section 4. The warning, a massive environmental risk.
So we've marveled at the tech, but environmentalists are sounding a very urgent warning here. The reality is pretty terrifying. When these truck-sized robotic vacuums churn up the ocean floor, they don't just delicately pick up the rocks, they completely obliterate the seabed. This process kicks up deadly, suffocating dirt clouds, literally massive walls of sediment. Environmentalists are warning that this isn't just mining. It's the active slaughter of completely delicate, largely undiscovered deep-sea marine ecosystems that have existed in pure peace for millions of years.
So the crucial point is the sheer scale of the devastation. We aren't just talking about a little murky water, right where the robot is driving around. A single sediment plume created by this deep-sea mining can drift and literally pollute the ocean water for thousands of miles. The ecological destruction radiates way, way beyond the actual mining site, basically suffocating life across vast expanses of the open ocean.
Now, you might be thinking, well, okay, this sounds like a problem for decades from now. Actually, scratch that. It is not. This isn't some science fiction concept for the distant future. Just look at the timeline. In the present, like right now, we are seeing rapid exploration and fierce geopolitical licensing battles. And in just 2 to 3 short years, commercial deep-sea mining is set to officially become a global reality. The disruption of our oceans is absolutely imminent.
Which leaves us staring directly at the ultimate paradox of our time. To build the quote-unquote green technologies that will save our surface world from climate change, the electric cars, the solar panels, we are actively looking at sacrificing pristine, ancient, deep-sea ecosystems. Are we effectively destroying one planet, the deep ocean, just to save another?
So, what does this all mean? It really all comes down to this lingering, highly provocative question. Will this incredible deep-sea technology be the miracle that saves us, finally providing the materials we need for a sustainable future? Or will human greed and this relentless global race for power and profit ultimately push us to destroy the oceans entirely? The machines are already being built, the licenses are already being filed, the war for blue gold has well and truly begun. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you a whole new perspective on the true cost of our modern conveniences. See you next time.